Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here, and I'm here with my good friend Robo.
What's up, guys?
He is here with me because there is a huge trading card convention here in Las Vegas, and we're just hanging out. We're just two collectors, and I thought I'd invite Robo back because he had some great takes last time. Did you know that a lot of your takes last time actually came true?
Yeah. So, I thought I was right on a lot of them.
So, as you can tell, we are absolutely the best Pokemon card experts, so I figured, why don't we throw out some more hot takes for the viewers just so they can see what kind of collectors we are. I like that because there's a lot of different flavors of collectors.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of kind of news and stuff that's been going on in the Pokemon card hobby right now that people could have takes on.
Yeah, I'm just shooting stuff with you guys. What I really mean is that there's really no perfect opinion. It's all opinions. I have my opinions. Rob has his opinion. You have your opinions. And we can all agree and disagree on different stuff. So I just thought it'd be nice to have a different perspective on the hobby right now. So yes. I brought you on. Why don't you tell us what do you want to talk about? You can talk about anything you want.
Anything? I mean, okay, if we're going to be talking about hot takes, I don't even necessarily know if this would be a hot take or not. But I've been talking just to other friends, other collectors,
all right,
people that, love Pokemon, and some of the prices for some of these AR cards and SIRs, I'm thinking of the Alt Art Greninja EX from Twilight Masquerade.
I did a video on that, okay.
Yeah, the Magikarp from Paldea Evolve.
Sure. I
think last solds in a PSA 10 was at above 600, like 650.
Yep.
The Greninja, I think, got to over $1,000.
$1,000 for a PSA 10 Greninja EX.
So that card just came out, guys.
Yeah.
There are, and that card's already graded, and this kind of falls along the same line as I feel about the Umbreon, and when I predicted that the price would go down a bit because it was just getting too high. There's too many of them out there. I get collectors want them. I get collectors probably want that Greninja. It's beautiful. The Magikarp is beautiful. But I think a lot of what's driving the price right now is FOMO. People thinking, whoa, it went from 300 to 400, so I got to buy one. Whoa, it's at 400. I want to buy one before it's 500. 6, 7, 8. When at the end of the day, there's enough of these cards. It comes from a box that's still $140. And people will be pulling these cards for the next for the end of time.
Yeah, there will always be more Twilight Masquerade boxes
that get opened, which means always more Carps hitting the market, always more Greninja EXs hitting the market, and at the end of the day, you shouldn't be spending that much on that card right now. Yeah.
I'm not even sure if that's a hot take, but I will absolutely agree with you. Okay. I think the Greninja's raw price is okay. I think the graded price is insane. I would never spend $1,000 for a PSA 10 Greninja EX.
Yeah. Well, the raw price is still kind of high too, right?
It is high. It is. I'm not saying it's not high.
What is it at?
It's $240, $260 for a raw copy.
See, and then that's wild that for a modern card, you're talking 4, almost 5x it in a PSA 10. When what other cards even of note is that happening to? That's wild.
It's the same price as the Umbreon VMAX. Pretty much. I mean, it's close.
No. That's way more. Oh, you're saying 1 to... I see what you're
1 to 1.
But I'm saying buy a Umbreon raw is what, like 800-900?
An PSA 10 Umbreon is
is
1,200.
Correct. So not 3, 4, 5x.
Yeah.
Why is the Greninja raw this price and then the PSA 10 people paying 4 or 5x? Crazy.
Okay, the reason is because supply and demand. There's not a lot of graded Greninjas in the market yet.
Right.
But there will be.
There will be, and people are already scooping up and trying to, pay for that. It kind of honestly reminds me of the Van Gogh Pikachu, and when people were paying so much money for it in a PSA 10, and then what happened just 4, 5, 6 months later, it just corrected. I
have a very similar hot take.
Okay.
But I think you're going to disagree with me on this hot take.
Okay.
Okay, my hot take is that I think the price difference between a graded 9 and a graded 10 is insane. A graded 9 is pretty much is as cheap or maybe even a raw card.
Yeah,
a 9 is considered hot garbage in the hobby right now, almost.
And it's mint.
Yes, a 9 is mint, and a 10 is significantly higher premium. It's usually a couple $100 more than the raw copy.
Yeah.
If you're a budget collector, just collect a 9. If you're someone that's really on a budget, just collect a 9. You have a card that's pretty much going to be the same on display as a 10. And this is where you might disagree with me.
We can get into that a little bit more. I can dissect that. I agree with you up until that last statement you said. Because I think budget collectors can collect 10s.
Sure.
And I think you can get a 10, and a 10 will hold longer value.
It does.
A 10 is gem mint, or for BGS, pristine. The minuscule differences between a 10 or a 9 are so tiny. And with BGS, a 9.5 to a 10, you're talking about this minuscule imperfection. So much so that you could resend that card in to get graded.
Yeah.
And it could bump, like go up or down either way. That's how small we're talking. So with that being said, it's funny that it's definitely a human psychology thing.
Yeah,
as to why we pay more money to just get the 10.
Well, we want things perfect.
We want things perfect.
The fact that it's a 9 and it's a little bit imperfect kind of
even though it
tugs it on your heartstrings, right?
But and this is what I was going to say. So I don't think how we think about how we're describing, like, you know, when you're saying, budget collectors just get a 9. I don't think it depends so much on the collector and his or her budget so much as the card and its pedigree. And what I mean by that is minuscule things, especially imperfections on high-end art pieces,
of course,
cars, the richer or more expensive the object, the difference between a 10 or a 9 on a grading scale for that should elicit a bigger range of money. And so you think of a Pikachu Illustrator, a 10 on that versus a 9 on that should be a $50,000 difference, $80,000 difference, because you're talking about a card that's like multi-hundred, or you know what I mean.
When you reach that level of wealth, you're willing to throw an extra $60,000 at, like,
to your point,
white
that level, right? And so that ratio becomes something that's like less important, because if you're buying something that expensive, you're probably it becomes, you know, $50,000 is how you and I think about like $50 or $500. So I guess what I'm saying is, but when it comes to 10s and 9s, in the sense that you talk about buying a 10 Greninja alt art for $1,000, and if you can just find a 9 at
$280,
like maybe $180.
It'll be less than a raw.
One of the raws, because
there'll
be a little bit more expensiveness to the raw, because people will be saying, I'm selling it for this because I think you can get a 10 on this, and you don't even know yet.
Right.
But a 9 in that, just buy the 9. I have plenty of 9s where I go, if I think that the 10 on this card and what the card is worth, and not what it's valued at, what it's worth, and there's a difference, is so, it just doesn't justify the difference in the 9 or 10 price, I'll pick up the 9 all day, because I can do more with that money than having a Greninja that says 10 on it. I have the card.
Yeah, so that brings up another interesting point.
Yeah.
You brought up that you can regrade a card to change the grade. You can absolutely regrade a card to change the grade. There are cards out there that are 9s or 9.5s, and if you regrade them a couple of times, it becomes a 10.
Yeah.
And there are people out there, not me, there are people out there who would say...
You were quick to that.
Well, I'll tell you what the opinion is. Their opinion is that grading is kind of a scam.
Some people have said that. I get it.
I get it too. I understand why people think grading is a scam, because obviously if a card's grade is subjective, then
I'll tell you why it's not a scam.
Okay, why it's not a scam?
It can be also explained just by human psychology as well. They're defining it as a scam because there's human imperfection in it. But newsflash, any business, anything in this world, because we're all humans error. It's, you know, why we're imperfect. As a result, perfect metaphor. Taking your car to the auto shop. Are there scummy ones out there? People say, oh, they're scamming me. Do I need an oil change? If they don't fix your car right and it doesn't work, you paid for a service.
You can get a second opinion on your car.
That's true. And then that person could be wrong.
Yeah.
Is that a scam? Then you would have to say everything is a scam. At the end of the day, we have human graders. Graders make mistakes. Graders can feel different ways on different days.
Sure.
It absolutely makes sense that a grader that's in a super, super happy mood is going to grade, tend to, you know, be more on the positive side. If you got a 9.5 and that's truly what the card is, but they're feeling really good that day, something great
Rob,
happened to them, it's a 10. If
You
they're
just
having a
explained
bad
why
day,
people think it's a scam. Because
but then everything is a scam. If you go to the doctor,
Sure.
you expect to get medicine, right?
Right.
Doctor accidentally checks you up and you get the wrong medicine, or
Yeah.
they diagnose you with the wrong thing. Is every doctor in the world a scam? Any job, right? Just say if you go and get a service somewhere and a human, because humans make mistakes, make a mistake, then it's just humans make mistakes. It doesn't mean
Sure.
everything in the world is a scam. But with grading, it's imperfect because
Sure.
humans are involved.
Okay.
I think that actually brings up a whole new tangent into the whole AI grading, and
Yeah.
will eventually just all grading be taken care of by machines at some point? I mean,
yeah, that's a different take.
Yeah.
I don't think I want an AI grading my cards.
interesting.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, well,
I like the human
current-
touch. I like the artisan touch, except that the graders are not artisans. They're just pay $20 to grade our cards.
Agreed. You would think it'd be a job that would be taken with a little bit more seriousness, or there's got to be some prestigiousness to it.
Exactly.
And there is with the head graders, at places. I do still think, though, I mean, at some point, certainly, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years from now, all the companies, it's got to be AI. It's got to be machines doing it, because it takes
AI is
all
the hot
bias.
stuff right now,
It takes bias out of it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if that means
Okay.
AGS has got it right, or Tag has got it right.
Sure. I agree with your point. I know what you mean. I don't think grading is a scam because, of course, I have graded cards.
Yeah.
But you also explain to people why they think, some people out there think grading is a scam, because if your grade is dependent on the mood of the grader that day, that's a rough feeling, right? That your card is at the whim of someone's feelings.
Yeah, but it's not a scam. I mean, it's just that's again human nature, and we live in an imperfect world. At the end of the day, it's so funny. We hear all these stories about how, oh, this was a 7, I regraded it, got a 9 or a 10.
It happens.
Or I know this was a perfect card and I got a 6. Both those scenarios have happened to me.
Yeah.
I know it's just the imperfectness of the system, of the world. It's not a scam, because for every one of those cards that was graded incorrectly, I've also graded hundreds of cards where a card was a little off from being mint. It got near mint.
Okay.
A mint card got a 10. This perfect card, it got a 10. I've sent cards into BGS to get a black label thinking, I mean, this is a perfect card. It got a BGS 10 black label. They're doing their job, but they can't be right 100% of the time.
Okay.
No one can.
I get where you're saying. You're pretty much saying that, to dumb it down, it's a game. There's a system.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's a game. It's a system in play, and you're playing the system. It is what it is. It's almost life. That there is imperfection, and you sort of accept that. Some people really hate that, and they want it to be as objective as they can be.
I know.
And there's a limit to how objective grading can be. It's subjective.
Well said.
Grading is subjective.
Yeah, and those people that really want it to be super objective, no subjectivity in it, they're not wrong for wanting that. I mean, I get it, and I think, we've already seen the AI grading companies. I think I saw a story where, someone pointed out, Tag grading. I know they use AI, and
it's not perfect yet.
It's not perfect yet.
It's not perfect.
The machine, because the machines are made by people, can still make mistakes when grading cards. So we really just do live in an imperfect world.
All right, guys. So those were our hot takes for today. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have other hot takes that you want us to talk about, let me know down in the comments section, and I can bring Rob on because he's got some strong opinions. You guys can see how confident he is on some of his topics, so let me know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below if what we said made sense, if you agree with what I said, if you disagree, and why.
Sure. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, later.